Hello, welcome to episode 123 of Your Ultimate Comeback. I'm Brad here with Raquel.
Hi.
It's good to see you.
You're giving me a hard time already.
Your necklaces look
I know,
great. We just spent 5 minutes getting those right.
They were inside the shirt. I wanted to pull them out.
They look perfect.
Something that men will never understand.
Never.
It's okay. No.
Yeah. So today you had a topic you want to talk about.
Yeah, I do, unfortunately. As I've told you and several people know, my mom fell and broke her hip on Friday and had to have surgery the very next day. And it just, going through that really made me think about, oh man, what does that look like for me in 20? Because she's only 20 years older than me.
Yeah.
I'm 61, so she's 81. And it made me think, gosh, what do I need to do to ensure that does not happen to me? And I mean, I know there's nothing that can ensure anything, right? But there definitely are some things I think that people can do, right?
Yeah.
That will put you on track to hopefully not having to go through that.
Yeah. It's a scary thought because it's dangerous.
Of course.
It's a common thing.
Yeah.
Too.
And you hear it all the time. You say common, you're not kidding. It's like, oh, so-and-so fell and broke their hip.
Yeah.
And it's just, once you're in that and dealing with all this stuff, it just made me think, okay, now I'm going to become even more of a freak. My husband is really going to want to.
Poor Matt.
I know.
I'm just kidding.
No, it's true. Now I'm even going to be more of a nightmare about what I will do or not do.
Yeah.
But I mean, you think about these things when you're faced with that.
Yeah.
For sure.
I mean, my take on it is, what you're doing now will impact your life 20 years from now, for the better or for the worse.
Right.
So that's why, I'm such a big fan of weightlifting.
Right.
I mean, the way you really prevent that is to maintain your strength. Mm-hmm. So with how much that is the last thing I'm worried about with you.
Yeah.
Like I told you in my response, I'm pretty sure when you're 95, I'm going to be watching videos of you on whatever the social media platform is, doing some crazy yoga pose.
I'd love to think.
You're going to be that. There's one lady right now that's viral that.
Oh, the 80-year-old.
Yeah, that just kills it.
Joan.
She kills it. Mm-hmm. That's the example of someone who never stopped.
Yeah.
Doing it.
No. I think if it's the same one we're talking about, she didn't start till about 40-something. And then
she's 80.
Right. Or okay, I'm sorry. Maybe it was late. You're right.
Yeah.
But her daughter is the one that got her going, and
yeah. So I'm saying she started at 47, but now she's 80.
Right.
That's 30 plus years of consistency and developing and getting stronger.
Right.
And as long as you start and don't stop, that's the outcome.
Right.
The problem is people just choose to stop moving.
Right.
Or they choose to stop lifting weights. But I think lifting weights is the catalyst of strength.
Right.
It keeps your bones strong. It keeps your balance intact. If you're doing things like squat variations and split squat variations and deadlift variations, the big compound movements that are what life are made of.
Yes.
I think that's really important. And I don't think we should stop doing them.
No.
Now, does everybody I work with, are they able to do back squats? No.
Yeah.
But they can do a goblet squat, or they can do variations that keep that patterning strong.
Because that's going to the bathroom.
Yeah, I don't know if it's still the truth. I remember hearing at one point, I don't even know if this was the truth, but one of the number one predictors of being put in an assisted living is the inability to get out the toilet, which is a squat pattern.
Sure.
So that's one of the primal movement patterns I think we should be good at. And I think that's something we should train and put external load on our bodies, training with it, so that the musculature stays strong, so we can control our body weight, and so the bones stay strong.
Yeah.
When we're younger, lifting weights is all about how we look,
Yes.
and as we get older, it comes down to how well you live your life and how well you can move.
Yes.
I had my father, before he passed away, had a myotonic dystrophy disease, a muscle wasting disease, so he lost the ability to use his body. And I just remember him always telling me, keep moving.
Yes.
Don't stop moving, because once you lose the ability to use your body, all you want back is to use your body. And I remember asking him one time, Dad, if you could have anything come true for one day, what's the one thing you'd want to do? He's like, that's easy. I want my body back so I can play basketball all day.
Yeah.
So I've always had that in my head, for the last 20 years, never stop moving.
Yes.
Respect your body, love your body, use your body. Because it's once you lose that ability to use it, you're going to miss it. And
Absolutely.
I think older generations, working out wasn't a big deal. I mean, it wasn't as much of a thing for them.
But they were more active in other ways, probably.
They were more active in other ways, but then as they got older, they typically stopped moving. I got my mom, I'm super proud of my mom, probably 15 years ago, she started lifting weights every day.
That's so great. And how old is she now?
She is, if I'm 50, she's 71 now.
Okay.
And one of her sisters is kind of going through the same thing. And my mom's like, I just don't want that to happen to me. I'm like, I don't think it will. Like, as long as you just keep lifting weights and keep getting out of bed and keep, doing your thing, I don't think you're going to have to worry about that. I said, if you stop that, then I would get a little worried. But I'm proud of you. You get up every morning, you go to the gym, you lift your weights, you do your stuff. Like that's really important, I think.
How important is the weight load, though? Because I know as we age, a lot of people have the joint issues. So it prevents them or prohibits them from being able to lift a heavy weight load, which might be the difference in keeping that strength up or not so much.
Well, it's
all relative, I guess.
Relative. Like if you haven't really lifted weights much, you don't just walk in and lift heavy weights.
No, of course not.
So you want to use weights that are challenging to you and over time become more challenging.
But a 3 and a 5 pound dumbbell aren't going to do that.
I mean,
after a bit.
If you've never done anything,
Sure.
you haven't lifted for a long time, that's going to be enough of a load to stimulate the body a little bit, but only for a short period of time. Will I ever put large loads on my body anymore? No, like I don't like, but I'll challenge myself to get my strength up. But if you're having joint pain, there's lots of solutions to help with the joint pain. Just most people choose not to go through those, like the peptides. There's good physical therapists out there, chiropractors out there can help with all that stuff. How you eat is going to impact that as well. So that could be
non-inflammatory foods. Is that what you need? Okay.
Yeah, like anti-inflammatory diets. Drinking enough water. The peptide. There's a lot of peptides that help with that stuff. There's good therapists that help with that stuff. It's a choice of, do I just want to live with this the rest of my life, or do I want to try to fight it? So. I don't think joint pain is always, there are scenarios where it can become pretty detrimental. But, there are strategies and solutions we can use to try to fight the joint pain. At my age, I have periodic joint pain. Just choose to fight it and, deal with it versus just let it run my life.
Right.
But again, I'm not like, there are situations where that pain and arthritis is
a thing.
There's no magical solution to it, unfortunately. But the other thing that I really like is this thing called the Toe Pro.
Oh, yes.
And a number of episodes back, we had Dr. Jason Harris that's on. He talks about it. And it's the strengthening of the feet.
Right.
The feet, the ankles, the calves. It's a really good tool for all that to keep that stability and strength in the feet, the ankles, the calves. So if you step funny, like you have the strength, the body just doesn't give out. Like if you step, like on a slanted curve or something like that.
Yes.
The proprioception is there, the strength is there to stabilize against that versus all of a sudden you lose your balance because you've been using like the toe pro, you don't have to add weight to it, but it has, a little cushioning to it. So there's a little stability requirement to it. You can train the different angles. So you can train that angle. It's a really nice tool to help with like proprioception awareness, stability, balance, things like that. Keeping the feet, ankles strong for stability against the ground to, reduce your risk of falling. That's a really simple, easy tool to use that I think would really help. I think as we get older, that's when I think some of the balance training comes into play. Not the circus act stuff that's dangerous, but just, working on that proprioception and that body awareness with the stabilization stuff that's out there.
Right.
I think that's a good period of time to incorporate some of that. And again, I'm not saying the circus act dangerous stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just saying like the balance boards, the Bosu ball, things like that, to where you're challenging your proprioceptive awareness and your reflexes. So that if you get off balance, you can catch yourself. We were talking earlier, I think one of the biggest destructive mechanisms in our lives is how much we have to sit. Sitting is not a natural way to go about things. The people that have never been introduced to a chair, they don't sit, they squat.
Yes.
They squat and do work.
Yes.
I shared with you that third world country where they had these people working on these lines and they were like sitting in a deep squat working and someone came in like, that's inhumane. We got to get them somewhere to sit. Right. So they put benches along the lines and they come in later and the people are just on top of the benches in that same deep squat position doing the work.
Yeah, right.
So sitting is not a natural position for us.
Yeah.
And I think it raises a lot of havoc. So the more people sit, the more rigid they're going to become. The more they're going to have structural issues, the more likely they're going to get hurt moving.
I feel like we should stand up right now, actually.
I've been standing all day. I've been standing since 6 a.m. I'm good with a few minutes.
Yeah.
So I like, people that sit all day for work, that's a scary thing. And you need to do things to fight that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's a reason probably that if you go on a long car ride, you always feel kind of jacked or an airplane ride,
stiff.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
sitting is not a great position for us to be in. We were never designed to sit like this.
The long periods of time anyway.
Yeah, so I think that kind of plays into it. Especially as the longer you do it, the more rigid and stiff you're going to get, the more issue you're going to have from it if you're not doing things to fight it.
Sure.
Which most people aren't great about stretching. I'm not even great about stretching. It's a hard, boring thing to do. But we live in a world that creates that risk if you don't fight it.
Yeah, yeah.
And you got to look at exercise and stuff as more than just making me look good. It's really developing quality of life.
And it needs, functional things, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And do you think that would you say, no matter what the age, someone could incorporate some strength training?
I think so.
Do you do?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not an expert
of course,
at
but I mean,
geriatric realm.
Yeah. But if you had I don't know, let's say my mom had never weight trained, and she was doing a little weight training actually.
Yeah.
She had a trainer come into the house a couple times a week. Now, the loads, I don't think were very crazy or anything, but nonetheless, it's better than nothing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like in a lot of ways that generation might not have been into it the way it's coming into vogue or has been, right?
Yeah, it definitely was.
Yeah.
Like my mom never worked out until she, I think 15 years ago. It just wasn't a part of life.
No.
I mean, my dad was into it when he was young. So that's kind of why I've always been into it. I would go to the gym.
LaLanne.
Yeah, I'd go to the gym with him when I was little and just hang out and watch them all work out. And so I've always been kind of fascinated with it. But yeah, the women in my family, none of them went to the gym. None of them worked out. None of them did any of that stuff. And very few of the guys, and my dad was kind of one of the rarities that liked to do it. So I kind of feel lucky that I was exposed to that at such a young age.
Yes.
I remember going to the gym. I remember there was one dude in a wheelchair that would train with them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it lifted the weight. It was great. He was super strong.
Yeah.
So I kind of got to see and be a part of that world at a very young age. And I loved going. So like with my kids, I've always had them in the gym super young. Like just so they kind of been fascinated with it, like to do it,
That's such a gift.
Yeah.
That really is.
Yeah.
Because my mom had always said to me, I really don't like it. I don't enjoy it. I think if you can find that love for it, or at least for me, it was always seeing results from doing it and getting stronger, feeling better, all the things.
Yeah.
I don't think that everybody just falls in love with it.
Well, it's an intimidating world.
Sure.
To walk into any gym. That's the part I don't like about the gyms is how intimidating it
can be.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But I mean, I have a lot of my clients, your age and older that are killing it.
Their age and older.
I'm just saying, like, people think that 60 is, or even 50, like, it's over. Like, you can't be strong. And I have some examples of, men and you and that are considered in the older age category that if you tried to come and work out with them, you'd be shocked at how strong and how conditioned and how fit they are. Yeah. And it's really cool. I even had one, Randy, I hope to have on the show one time that, quadruple bypass surgery last year, and he's in his early to mid 60s, and he's in better shape than he ever has been.
That's so great.
Yeah, so he's squatting and doing all the things.
And he's mid 60s, you said?
Yeah, I think he's early to mid. I can't remember how old he is, but
fantastic.
Yeah, I think it just comes down to a choice.
Yeah.
And he's back squatting 155 pounds for reps.
Wow.
And,
fantastic.
we didn't start there.
Sure.
But he just has been like, we might have missed total altogether in the last year, maybe 5 scheduled workouts because of travel or things like that. He's just super consistent. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah. Yeah.
And his favorite thing is he has a grandchild. I think she's 3 or 4, maybe 5, and he can keep up with her.
That's
and he
great.
Loves that. He does all the hard things with her.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
Well, I know that's something you say about your own kids that you love, that you can run routes with Gavin and do all that. Yeah.
Yeah, I periodically like to go out and do his workouts with him. One, to earn his respect.
Sure.
2, to also to understand as a coach how hard this stuff is. I'm asking his kids to do.
Yes.
I don't like when coaches are having kids do hard things and getting mad at them like they're not going hard enough.
And they
it's
could
like,
do it.
You couldn't do that right now.
Yeah.
Like that's hard what you're
Right.
asking them to
Right,
do.
right.
And you're not giving them any rest. And like, I like
To know that you can do it and they can see that you can do it.
and I can have empathy for them.
Sure,
'Cause
sure.
I still I recognize how hard that is. And so, so it's always been super important to me to be able to like, okay, like I know how hard that is. You need a break. I appreciate the effort you're putting into it. I see you and I know what you're going through right now. That's not fun.
Right.
Because when I was actually just talking to a client of mine earlier today, we're talking about how men overestimate their ability to fight. There's a study like by like 4,000%, like to fight. When you watch it, like you watch the TV shows, you watch the UFC, you're like, oh, I could do that. But the reality is you can't.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with sport.
Like one, you've thrown your shoulder out.
Yeah, or two, you have no memory of what it's like to get hit. That's not fun.
No.
Yeah, so the average man overestimates his ability to fight by 4,000%. Like,
What?
It's crazy.
Oh my God.
It's crazy because what they're watching on TV isn't realistic. You know, these UFC fighters. I mean, gee, we got a handful of some of the best in here training the last few weeks. It's unreal what they can do. But the same thing if you're watching kids in sports, it looks easy. Like, why can't you do that? Or why are you tired right now? It's hard as hell. It's just perception and reality can be very different things. And so I like to go through all the stuff that like right now I'm training with my NFL guy. It's just a reminder of how effing hard this is and, you know, what these guys are putting their bodies through and how much rest they need. And it's pretty crazy. So it gives me a lot of empathy for people.
Yeah.
So when I'm asking people to do things, like I know what they're going through.
Well, I think people always want to know, and I think kids are definitely a great example of this, but you want you want to look up to your coach and think he could do that, even if he's not actually doing it.
Yeah.
I do believe there, you know, when Quinn in their off season has to run the track, her coach goes out and does it with them.
I think there's a lot of buy-in with
Sure.
Because that kind of stuff sucks.
It definitely
I mean, it's funny, the kids on my son's football team, they know I'm the oldest guy out there. You're old as dirt, coach. You know, like they make fun of me. And
that's funny.
I'm like, that's right, but I'm still here running around with you. I got my cleats on.
That's cute.
But they love teasing me, but then love that I get out there and run around with them. And so.
But they respect you. Like you said, they look at that and say, wow, okay.
I don't know.
Yes,
I think they do. I'm sure they do.
You would know if they didn't. Let's put it that way.
I mean, they never voice it.
Well,
but they love that I'll get out there and defend them and run routes against them and play with them. Yeah. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's good. So I think the best defense is consistently exercising and stop looking at it as like, I'm doing this to look great. Yes, that can be part of it, but you're doing it for a better life in the future.
Well, I remember reading something about if you could get up off the floor without your hands, that was...
Yeah, there's a test that tells you. Yeah.
So I don't know. Now I'm, of course, going psycho about all these things. Like, okay.
Yeah, you don't need to go psycho with them. Like, you're good. Like, I mean, what were we squatting the other day? Like, you had
I did my body weight.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I'm so stoked on.
Yeah.
I've never in my life done my body weight.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So but I never really tried.
Yeah.
I think I was more of just the vanity weight training.
Yeah.
And now I just trust the process with you and Jay and just say, okay, you guys are telling me what to do and what I need. So
when you got to look at it, when you're doing your body weight, you're doing your body weight plus your body weight.
Right.
So you're never going to have an issue.
Hadn't even thought about that.
You're never going to have an issue getting off the toilet.
Yes, hopefully not.
Right?
Hopefully not. Unless they've had leg day.
Well, yeah,
I think
that's a different story.
Everybody can relate to that one.
Put those handlebars up, help you get up, and
everybody's had that one. Or lowering. It's the lowering down generally.
Yeah, the aim and drop.
What is it?
Aim and drop.
That's great.
Post leg day.
Yes. It's a thing. It is a thing for sure.
Yeah, but you know, when people are older and they haven't done it for a while, you got to be really safe with how you start with it.
Sure.
Like again, I wouldn't, if someone came in and they're, you know, in that elderly realm of life and they haven't worked out in 20 years, I'm not going to make them squats. I'm going to build the structure first.
That makes sense.
And work them into that. That's the other thing I think trainers need to be aware of is you got to understand where your client is. And I'll tell you guys as a trainer, like my high level athletes, when they come in after evaluation, normally their first phase doesn't include squats. I got to get them to a position where I can squat them safely. Like even Garrett, I've been training for 10 years. He came in, evaluated him, first phase, there was no squats. That didn't start until week 4. I had to create a little bit of structural balance in his body so that I can have him squat safely. So it's very rare that someone comes in and can squat day one.
Right.
And that's even at the professional athlete level.
Yeah.
So you got to know where your client's at and what they can do, and then build the, fill the gap to get them there. I think, like I said, I think everyone should squat.
Yeah. Yeah.
But most people aren't in a position when they first come in that we can have them squat safely. So, because the worst thing, you don't want to hurt someone.
No.
And there's always a risk of that.
Yeah.
And it does happen periodically, but you want to do your best to negate that risk so that you can progressively build that strength over time.
Yes.
And you never see that. I should have posted some videos on what it looks like with Garrett.
Yeah, you should have.
You don't see that part. All you see is the sexy stuff on social media and the big lifts. You don't see a 320-pound man using 20-pound dumbbells and struggling. But that's the non-sexy side of it. He's not going to be lifting big weights for probably another 10, 12 weeks.
Wow.
Like
How many weeks do you get with him in total?
Anywhere from usually around 16.
Okay.
He's real good because they have to go back to OTAs. What he does is he goes OTAs Monday through Thursday, and
What's
it comes organized team activities.
Oh, okay.
And then he'll fly in Thursday. We'll train usually Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and he'll go back. So he's super consistent with how he does it. So I probably get about 16 total weeks with him. So I would say starting about week 8 or 10 is when he's going to be lifting what would be like sexy lifts on social media.
Okay.
Where he's doing the bigger weights, he's doing the jumps, the athletic stuff. But the first 10 weeks is the non-sexy, rebuild the durability, the structural stuff, reduce risk of injury. And it's not sexy and it's hard. I'm sore as hell from doing it with him. But it's what creates that base to keep those guys, men and women, strong.
Right, right.
It's the same thing. I got a guy in from Canada who's, I don't know how old he won't tell me how old he is, but
He won't tell you how old.
Yeah. He says he's much older than me, so I'm guessing he's
70s maybe?
No.
Oh.
Somewhere in his 60s.
What?
But the dude trains harder than anyone I've seen.
Really?
Is strong as hell,
Wow.
ripped, jacked,
Wow.
can do all the things.
Huh. I'd be bragging about my age if I were him.
The way he looks and the way he moves is incredible. Super athletic, super fit. It's pretty awesome to witness.
Was he an athlete before?
Yeah, he played like college football. He's owned a professional sports team at one part of his life, so he's really into sports.
Yes.
And loves Patel. It's a combination of, I don't even know how to explain it, but a really high intense racket sport. God, he moved because he's never stopped. And he's super successful, owns multiple businesses, but he's always prioritized this health and fitness. And when you see someone at that age that has never stopped, it's like, damn, that is awesome.
Right. But as a side note, when you say never stop, things have probably looked different along the way.
Well, he's had injuries and things like that. Yeah, that'll curb
but
it.
I mean, the workouts might have to change and how they're, right?
Yeah, but he's never not worked out for 6 months.
Yeah.
That's the kiss of death.
Yeah. Because then you don't want to get back.
Well, then it's hard to get back.
Sure.
So what you can take a week off here and there, but you got to stay consistent. It just has to become a core, just non-negotiable.
It's part of what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's going to be times where you're injured or times where you're sick. We're not going to be doing it. You still got to be walking and moving and stretching. And if you stop moving your body, you're going to lose your body is the best way I can put it.
Sure.
If you continue to move your body, you're going to continue to enjoy your body.
Yeah.
There's going to be periods of time where you like how you look, you don't like how you look. That's all that stuff's going to ebb and flow with lifestyle, stress, hormone changes. That all ebbs and flows. There are going to be periods of time while you're consistently doing it where you feel like you look great. Other times you feel like you don't look great. But the consistency over time is what's going to lead to a higher quality of life down the road, I believe.
I do too.
And I've seen it.
Yes.
That's why I'm kind of passionately saying that I really believe that from what I've seen.
And I love that you can speak to it because you have had a lot of clients that are above 40, above 50, right?
I remember one of my favorite times in life, I was training a guy who's awesome. His name was Art. He was in his mid-70s at the time. And he was so jacked up because one of his son's friends saw him lifting and was so impressed with how strong he was at his age. And he was just like, that was
really
huge
proud.
to him. Yeah. So
that's great.
Yeah, I remember that. He was pretty pumped on that, how strong he was, and that he was getting the respect of his son's friends because he could do the weight loads that they were doing.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So, and he was in his mid-70s at the point of time. So, and I would guess if I ran into him now,
He'd still be fit.
he's still fit. He's still moving well, still doing all the things, probably not lifting as heavy as he was, but for being, I'm going to guess he's late 70s now, early 80s. He's killing it. I know he is because he just never stops.
Yeah. You said something to me when I reached out to you about what had happened to my mom, and you said that the things you're doing 20 years prior are what are setting. Am I correct? Is that how you said it?
I believe that. I believe the things we're doing now are going to impact our lives 20 years from now.
Okay.
So, like the things I did and how I treated myself in my late 20s, early 30s, I'm either reaping the rewards or paying the price for that right now.
Yeah.
Like that's nutrition, that's training, that's all those things.
You don't get away with that.
No.
Yeah.
I think that it's kind of, I can't remember who told me that, but
But it makes sense.
yeah,
Because it's cumulative.
how you treat your body in your 20s is what you're going to deal with in your 40s. So if you weren't exercising and drinking and partying and just ripping apart your body in your 20s, you're going to pay for that in your 40s.
Yeah. Unless you start maybe in your 30s. I don't know.
I mean, you can, yeah. I mean, you can, there's still going to be, if you treat your body very poorly for a period of time, you're going to pay the price at some point.
Sure. Yeah.
So if you drink a lot in your 20s, you're probably still going to have more inflammation, more joint pain, more hormonal dysregulation issues because of how you treated your body when you were younger.
So the moral of the story is if you haven't started, start.
Start. Yeah, just start and don't stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be sophisticated. Just move.
Yes. Yes.
And then the sophistication will come because as you start to move, you'll start looking for other scenarios.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have to be sophisticated.
No.
Nutrition doesn't have to be sophisticated.
Crazy stuff. No.
Yeah. There's lots of trigger words out there. It's funny how these trigger words were like just kind of take over the industry.
Yeah.
But it doesn't.
Simple.
Yeah. A lot of times the trigger words, people don't even really understand what the trigger words mean.
Sure.
It just sounds sexy. Sounds smart.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I see that a lot too. Is people will like make things seem super sophisticated and overwhelming, so you have to pay them.
Right. Or it seems too daunting a task to
so
begin.
just give up, so you don't do it. Yeah.
Right.
So I like simple. Just start. Doesn't have to be perfect. Doesn't have to be beautiful. Doesn't have to be like. Garrett's workouts are like 30 minutes long.
That's great.
That's a professional athlete.
Yeah.
Like and we get after it for the 30 minutes, but he's just found like his body responds well to that. So we train more often, but just shorter windows of time. He's never in here for an hour and a half. He'll come lift hard for 30 to 45 minutes with me, take a break, go do his field work, come home, get some tissue work, stretch, eat, nap.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be these long, crazy workouts. So I don't know if that helps at all, but
No, I think it does. If you're not already on a program, find that program and find a way to incorporate it into your life. Yeah, because it's not just about vanity. I think that's what I don't want to say was shocking, but just I just didn't think that was going to happen to her because she is active enough, I thought, but it just made me think, oh my gosh, everybody needs to be moving and taking care of themselves and trying to remain strong so that hopefully that sort of thing doesn't happen.
I would guess that would be the parameter she missed was focusing on strength.
Yeah, maybe so. Yeah.
It's like doing a bunch of cardio is not.
Well, she wasn't doing a lot of cardio, but I think that the weight training loads didn't start early enough, in her career, let's say.
Yeah.
That she's never really liked it.
I mean, could she like pop out of a sitting position really easy?
I wouldn't say not easily, but she's like I said, it's never been about heavy. I want to weight train to get strong.
And you know what? People trip.
Sure, absolutely. But this was getting out of the chair and losing balance. So there's that component too that I think about balance and how we all lose that as we age, right? The ability to balance well.
Well, yeah, but if you're squatting and lunging and split squatting,
yes, you're going to be better at it.
You are in a state with an external load balancing on the ground.
Sure. Yeah. You're right.
Again, I have no idea what your mom was doing. I have no idea.
Getting out of a chair.
No, I mean from an exercise standpoint.
I see.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like standing up from a chair is like a squat movement.
Right.
So if she was doing a lot of squatting, she probably would have had better. So I don't know if she was doing a lot of squatting.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I know she likes her trainer. He comes to the house. He's a good guy. But I mean, I think it's more.
And nothing against him.
No, of course not. I think it's less about what she was doing and probably more about what you're saying about the cumulative
Yeah,
all
I
along
would guess
the way.
he was doing great stuff with where she's at, trying to help her out.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, that's a world I don't understand.
Yeah.
So
when you're dealing with older patients.
yeah, I just noticed when people start early and don't stop, as they get older, they have less
doing
risk of that stuff.
Yeah,
They,
makes sense.
They tend to not have the balance struggles. They tend to not have, they're not falling unless unless, again, it can happen.
Sure.
But yeah, I know it's hard if they start late. Trying to rebuild all that's really hard.
Yeah.
So
Not to say give up and think, oh, well, I've missed the window.
No,
Right,
it's very important to do it. And it's just the longer you wait to start, the harder it is and the more you're overcoming.
Yeah.
So
That makes sense.
yeah, I know that world, like the geriatric world, people who've never done it, is really hard because the hormones are lower, muscle tissue's different, everything's different, they're stiffer, the balance has become an issue.
Yep.
Like, once you lose the balance, it's hard to regain that.
Well, what's interesting is in her hospital room, when she was still in the hospital, which was 4 days, there was a poster, a little print up that had these all women, or maybe there were some men of it, but I don't know, all sitting on the Swiss balls, those yoga balls, right? Yeah. Sitting there doing a bicep curl. She said, wow, they're all on those balls. And it's like, yeah, that's a great thing because, you have to, balance somewhat on that.
Yes. Yes. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Okay. Okay.
The balance stuff is tricky.
Yeah.
Because it's working on reflexes, and there's different reflex profiles.
Okay. Meaning people are different?
The stability requirement you need on the solid ground. So if you balance on a ball, things like that, it doesn't necessarily transfer over to better balance on the ground.
Okay.
Because of reflex profiling.
Got it.
So, like you see people like kneel on the ball and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And like, on this crazy balance exercise. Doesn't do jack squat for you on the ground because it's a different reflex profile.
Oh, wow.
You're gonna have a much better option of doing like things like split squats or single leg squats or things on the solid ground requiring stability in that realm.
Would not have known that.
Yeah. So.
I mean, it seems like to the layperson, it seems like, oh yeah, you're good if you're on your knees doing all the things.
It's a different reflex profile response.
Okay.
Because the ground's not moving.
Right. Right.
So when you're on a ball, it's moving. So great. All you're doing is really becoming better at, like, you can help with like stability on like a surfboard or a motorcycle where it's moving underneath of you. It's a different reflex profile. That's why training on the ground doesn't make you better at being on the ball.
Got it. No.
They're different reflex profiles.
That makes sense.
That's kind of as deep as I'll go on that.
Okay, that's fair.
And I used to be the guy that like would kneel on the ball, stand on the ball, squat on the ball.
Stand on the ball?
Oh yeah, I used to be able to. I would do barbell squats standing on the ball.
Come
Stupid
on.
shit. Chops, like all the crazy stuff on the ball.
Can you still do it? I want to see.
I wouldn't even try. But,
I'd face plant.
yeah, and what was funny was I thought I was building great athletes back then because of the balance and the stability and the core activity. They weren't getting any better on the ground.
Interesting.
Yeah, so, yeah.
That's wild. Well, we've talked about this. Everybody's had the phase where we put everybody through the tough stuff thinking that was the be all end all. Right?
Yeah.
Just like, let's break it down.
It looked cool, it's crazy, but like it didn't really develop better performance on the ground.
Sure. Yeah.
So,
sometimes it's simple.
yes. If you want to be
stuff.
more stable and stronger on the ground, you need to train on the ground. In my opinion. Now, if you're like a surfer that's on a surfboard,
Sure.
you know what? I'm going to mix some of that stuff in. I don't work with a lot of those guys anymore, but I used to work with those guys. So I think there's going to be some correlation. Paul Chek did a really good job in that world, like talking about all that and teaching about all that. But yeah, I think if you're worried about being stable on the ground, you need to train on the ground.
Okay. Perfect, because that's where I train.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you'll see, like, if you try to go stand on the ball, what we've been doing is not going to have any positive impact on it.
I don't even know if I could kneel on the ball anymore.
Well, yeah, but it's because you just haven't trained for it.
Yeah. True. So keep moving. Don't stop. If you haven't started, find a place to start.
Yeah.
And don't think that there's an end game of I'm stopping when I get to this age.
Yeah, there's no end game. You got to just keep going.
Yes.
And it's going to deteriorate over time.
Of course.
That's part of aging. But if you just keep moving, you're going to fight that.
Yes.
Yeah. like I've noticed like my vertical jump has just naturally come down over. I can't produce as much speed and power, which is the first thing that goes away as we get older.
Okay.
So my vertical jump is down, 6-7 inches from when I was younger. No matter what I do, that's just slowly coming down. I'm not running as fast.
Yeah.
But my strength can still be pretty close. It's dipped a little bit, but not as much as like my speed and power stuff has.
Right.
But that's common. That's you're going to lose that. I think like literally though, I think like the peaks of it are later in life than we thought. Like I had my best speed power numbers at 33 years old.
Wow.
Garrett's around that age and he is at his prime, his peak. I think a lot of people think it happens more in like the early 20s. But if you stay consistent with it and train it, it doesn't start dipping until later.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So.
Well, thank you for all the insight as usual.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. So.
Hope it helps. I'm sure. Disgruntle some people with some of the things I say, but it is what it is. It's just I like to kind of just share from experience
our opinion,
what I've seen.
your opinion, my opinion. Yeah, it doesn't. We're not saying it's.
And I'm just from being in the trenches. That's my big thing. Is that I'm in the trenches with so many people.
Yes, and not 20-year-olds generally.
No. I don't really have any of those anymore.
Well, you do, Quinn.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
Athletes, I guess.
Athletes. Most people in the 20s are just all they care about is how they look, and that's not the world I like to play in.
No, I got you.
So yes, I have some younger athletes that are in that realm, but they're looking for a performance edge, not how do I get 6-pack abs, or how do I put on 20 pounds or something like that. But
awesome.
Yeah.
And we have a fun guest next week.
Cool. Looking forward to that.
Yes.
And talk a little bit about HRV and all that.
And stress and how it impacts our bodies.
Nice.
Yeah. Right up our alley.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Brad.
Yep. Thank you.